This is Joy News Prime live from our studios here at Kokomeme in Accra. I'm Carlos Caloni. In our headline, journalists with Cape FM beaten in a case of mistaken identity by thugs dressed in Mavis Hawakumsen t-shirts.
They said, Daddy, no, they bought me. I don't know. They bought me. So as I stand here, my finger I am here. Me tikra so am here. And I'm the jam. Me need some dinner.
And when life pushes you to the street, you must survive by all means necessary. We'll share the story of Esther Donko, a homeless pregnant lady who remains resolute in the face of adversity while hoping for a better future.
And stay
with a driver's mate who feeds me. The same guy got me pregnant.
Also, prospective car owners and dealers frustrated with new DVLA online registration system.
Here for about 2 days, and then the process of the registration has changed. Unlike last year, where it was manually done, this year it has been digitalized, and then the process has not just been that easy. It is a bit rough because of the network challenges and then publication.
And we also have business.
And the bond market recorded a decrease of 52.7% year-on-year. Traded volume in 2023.
We also have sports.
Well, former Black Stars coach Otto Addo rallies the Black Stars to do well at the African Cup of Nations tournament, but cautions against underestimating smaller teams.
Weak team anymore, and you have to earn your wins very, very hard. And so I think once we get a good start, it makes the following games easier.
Thank you so much for choosing us. Let's begin from the central region, where morning show host with Cape FM in the central region, David Kobina, has been beaten to pulp by alleged NPP thugs. The presenter was mistaken for a man accused of insulting the Member of Parliament for Ewutu Senya East, Mavis Hawakumsen, on Accra-based television. More in this report.
The Cape FM morning show presenter was one of several journalists who had gone to provide coverage for the MPP parliamentary vetting at the Central Regional Coordinating Council in Cape Coast. Reports suggest while there, some thugs in Mavis Hawakumsen's t-shirt approached and rebuked him for allegedly insulting Hawakumsen. The thugs subsequently subjected him to physical assault. They would not listen to any explanation offered by the victim as they pounced on him, slapping and knocking him several times, causing him to fall to the ground. The timely intervention of his colleague journalists saved him.
Guy back home, they said, Daddy, no, they bought me. I don't know. They bought me. So as I stand here, my finger I am here. Me tikra so am here. And I'm the jam. Me need some dinner.
I'm feeling body ache and dizziness from the beatings that they subjected me to. At a point, I was dazed and I could not see anything. Later, when I regained consciousness, I realized my colleagues had poured water on me. The thugs that assaulted me followed Hawakumsen to the vetting.
Eric Annan, Sumpa TV Central Regional Correspondent who was with the victim before he was attacked, also had this to say.
I overheard one of the thugs questioned whether he is Jacob, but he said no. They were not convinced with the answer, so the victim decided to show the thugs his identity card. But before he could say Jack, they slapped him from behind.
Another eyewitness, Isaac Dazi, is calling for justice.
We emphasize that the way journalists are treated in this country is bad. We are seeking justice for our colleague and also urge the current and future government to prioritize the safety of journalists.
The Central Regional Organizer, Anthony Saki, has pledged to help identify the perpetrators. The case has since been reported to the Kotukraba police.
Now, some car owners, dealers and importers are criticizing the new online registration system introduced by the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA. at the Ashanti Regional Office of DVLA, applicants hoping to register their new cars are left in dilemma over issues of network cuts and complex registration processes. Setbacks in the new online system have influenced lower registration numbers at the DVL office in Kumasi. Here's a report by my colleague Clinton Yeboah.
The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority has introduced a new online system to replace the old manual registration system. This new online system is requiring that people who have bought cars and wish to register, as well as people who have imported cars and sold the cars to other people, be present to undergo a certain digital procedure. And importers, as well as those who have bought cars, are not so happy with the process. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority sought to clamp down on identity theft, false representation of ownership of new cars coming into the system. Despite a new DVLA app to ease the process, persons in queues gathered at the Ashanti Regional DVLA office say it is not working as expected. They did not inform any of us. They have not even licensed up to 10 cars this year. They have asked us to bring the importers of our cars. How are we going to look for them? They said they have developed an app, yet it is not working. Many of us are not really educated. The person I sold the car to hasn't been able to register it. The importer is also not in the country. Where am I going to get his refund? Despite meeting all requirements of the new system, several prospective car owners recount spending days to finish the process due to network cuts. Some applicants suggest management evaluates the new procedures to fit their demands.
I've just been here for about 2 days, and then the process of the registration has changed. Unlike last year, where it was manually done, this year it has been digitalized, and then the process has not just been that easy. It is a bit rough because of the network challenges, and then publication has also gone down well to the customers and especially the importers association. So they are finding it difficult.
First point in the airport.
Since the first point is the port, to avoid the troubles, they should synchronize importers' biodata with DVLA database.
No more synchronize DVLA 4 system.
Ashanti Regional Manager of DVLA, Amos Abeka, confirms the office has registered fewer cars compared to the same period in previous years. Mr. Abeka has assured the authority is liaising with other stakeholders to resolve issues with the new system.
If you look at the volumes, last year it was higher than, because in the process sometimes we meet network challenges that slows down the system. Even sometimes the client themselves, both parties, one of them is not available, have to be looked for, have to go to the nearest station to go and then verify themselves. All of it contribute to the delay. Any new system that is introduced gradually, eventually, I'm sure we'll face it out. In this new system, we are linked with customs, the ICON systems, and then the Ghana card. My only other comment is that our clients, when they come and the network probably is playing us up, they should have patience. We are here to serve them, regardless of what.
Although the new online system seeks to ease registration processes, dealers, buyers and importers of cars are hoping that pertinent issues that they have raised be considered by management. From Kumasi for Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Now, a group identifying itself as proud customers of menzgold have called adequate protection for the gold dealership firm. Now, the group disagrees with the prosecution of the managers of the defunct company and believe menzgold contributed to the nation's taxes and thus must be allowed to operate.
Some management members of the firm are currently standing trial for alleged gold transaction without license. The firm has also not been able to refund millions of cedis owed its customers in investment of gold collectibles after the Security and Exchange Commission shut its operations in October 2018. However, a new group calling itself Proud Customers of Menzgold is holding a dissenting view on the closure and trial of the company's managers. According to the convener of the group, Maurice Ampao, Menzgold deserves another chance.
We, being proud customers of Menzgold, believe that Menzgold is a legal entity established by law, recognized by the Registrar General of Ghana, and is still in existence. Menzgold has not been liquidated or has not been killed. It still exists. The structures and institutions still recognize Menzgold. Therefore, we believe that Menzgold as a legal entity needs to be protected and needs to be in existence to continue.
He said the ongoing prosecution does not serve the interest of the customers.
Granted that the matter before the court, the prosecution of number one, will end up in two things. Number one, either number one will be convicted and sentenced. And the sentence can come in any form. It can be a fine, it can be a custodial sentence, it can be a pardon and other sentence. And all number one will be acquitted and discharged. In both scenarios, it does not serve our interest. It doesn't bring back our money. So to us, what is happening in the court does not serve the prime interest of the main customers. Because if number one is incarcerated, we don't get our money back. If the number one is acquitted and discharged, we don't get our money back. But what will make us get our money back is to continue to believe in what number one stands for.
Maurice Ampao maintains that certain notable people whose investment were also locked up with Menzgold have already been paid.
It is evidence before the facts in the court of competent jurisdiction, before the court of financial court. One, the facts of the case is that a lot of our customers have received their investments. The big men have taken theirs, and others have been paid by Yoko. So why do you think that when others, without the court process, have received their money, then we sit down and we say we are waiting for the court?
The proud Menzgold customers want the state to rather find effective means by which all customers would be paid.
Now, a 27-year-old Esther Donko traveled from the Ashanti region to Accra seeking greener pastures. Unable to find a job, she is left with no option but to spend her nights at the mercy of the weather on the pavement at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. To survive, she is forced into a relationship with a driver's mate, resulting in unplanned pregnancy. Today, we shed light on the struggles of Esther Donko and others like her who remain resolute in the face of adversity, hoping for a better future. In the heart of the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange in Accra are many homeless people resting on the pavements. The elevated road on the pillars has created a perfect shade for the homeless to rest. Among those who rest here is 27-year-old Esther Donko. She is pregnant but has never been to the hospital for prenatal care because she cannot afford it. Her dream is to get a free doctor's appointment to know how her fetus is faring.
I need help so that I can go to the hospital.
Esther relocated to Accra from Kumasi seeking greener pastures. She found out that the grass in a part of Accra was any greener. Her dream was to find a job as a chop bar assistant to count a living.
I came to Accra to find a job, but I have not gotten any since I came. I came to work as a chop bar assistant.
Her desperation to survive led her to rely on a driver's mate. The outcome is an unplanned pregnancy.
I sleep under the overhead bridge and stay with a driver's mate who feeds me. The same guy got me pregnant.
Esther says she's skilled in breeding and hopes to find a job that can help her make money to care for her unborn child.
20-year-old Faustina Nono from South Point, the Central Region, also shares a similar story. She was hoping to find a job, but she couldn't find any. Her bedroom at night is on the cold pavement of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange.
I'm in school, I'm madam BH, and I'm in the bar. The dresses too.
I followed a friend to come here. I left home at SHS2 because I was being maltreated at home. I have been here for almost a year. I thought I would get help when I come here, but life is not easy out here.
She works as a head porter to scrape a living. Faustina says she regrets leaving home but cannot go back empty-handed.
I'm coming to this car.
I wish to go back and plead with my grandmother if I had money, because life here is difficult. When I was with my grandmother, she gave me everything I wanted.
Faustina is, however, hopeful of becoming a fashion designer one day.
Fashion school.
I want to go to a fashion school. I admire fashion when I watch movies, so I want to learn it.
Michael, also from Takoradi, says surviving on the street is tough.
I come for hustling. I'm a hustler man. Like bala bala. Maybe some, like if somebody kids some place come here, they have the plenty or bag or sack, they take go with him. If you finish, they give money, 20 cedis, 10 cedis. A day, sometimes a day 50 cedis. Sometimes you don't get some, or 1 cedi you don't get. But I don't feel comfortable. I won't go home. Because my mama was sick in home. But I won't go look there in home. If you sick, if I go look them, finish, I will come back.
Esther and Faustina are counting on kind hearts to support them in fulfilling their dreams this year. Their stories echo the common struggles of the homeless. Any kind gesture might stitch their despair and give them hope for the new year. Prince Kwame Kuduga's report for Joy News. Now moving on, Trade and Industry Minister Kobina Tahir Mohamed has condemned the surge in cement prices at the beginning of the year, despite the government creating an enabling environment for businesses. The current price of cement on the market contradicts the government's recent assertion of recovery in the sector. Now condemning the surge, KT Hammond describes the act as a conspiracy among producers and importers. He says his ministry will announce a series of actions to deal with the situation. He spoke to my colleague Nana Boachi Yadom.
The cabal of the cement producers and importers have again conspired and decided to increase the price of 50 kilos of cement by a considerable figure. Now, I don't think that is right. I do not accept that is right. The government has provided all the necessary ambience, all the regulatory framework, a proper environment for these companies to operate and do their business profitably. I've always maintained that these institutions and organizations, these companies are not charitable institutions or organizations. I expect that they make their reasonable profit. What I don't accept is to take the people of Ghana for granted. cement price 50 kilos already too high under any circumstances. Now, I can't understand the basis for a decision to increase the price by, in some cases, as high as about 5 cedis or so for a 50 kilo bag of 50 kilo. I do not understand. What I find a little bit more atrocious is the fact that a few companies which recently were suspended from playing any role in the industry because they were they were producing substandard quality of cement, have also decided to increase their prices. I mean, they are increasing their prices for the substandard that they were producing, or they are now increasing their prices as a price that we have to pay for them to produce quality products in the country. I find it disgusting. Of course, we are not in a command economy where government, institution, government authority, government in power it's able to tell consumer producers what to charge for their product. But I think they should reciprocate government gesture for all that government is doing to ensure that there is the atmosphere is economically viable. It's financially reasonable for them to operate, for them to make their reasonable profit. Reciprocate that gesture by being sensible with your pricing. You do not rip off the people of the country the way they do, because cement is such a it's a sine qua non. I mean, it's a product that everybody wants. All the infrastructural network in the country, we require cement.
With this on your table, what are you intending to do as a ministry?
Well, as I indicated to you, I mean, it's governments in economies which are liberal and free like this are not able to command, to dictate the selling price of any item. It's for the government to encourage producers, make sure that there is the proper economic atmosphere in the country. But they then have to be careful how they price their products to make sure that the people are not cheated.
You're still watching Join News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We have more stories after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now, authorities at the Tema Polyclinic say despite the desire of staff to offer quality health care to clients, it is struggling to cope with the limited resources of the facility. Now, the Polyclinic is the biggest public facility in Tema West Municipality with a catchment population of over 200,000. Medical Superintendent of Tema Polyclinic, Dr. Lunisa Ifua Ahlija, says they are forced to discharge patients to make room for those who equally need care. She disclosed this at the second edition of the Employee Award Ceremony. There's more in the following report.
The Knights awarded hardworking staff for their dedication and sacrifices throughout 2023, despite the challenging working environment they find themselves in. Medical Superintendent of Tema Polyclinic, Dr. Lenusia Ahilija, says, with all the competence of the staff, their work is impeded with challenges at the facility. According to her, there is limited space and equipment to deliver quality health care.
But then we know that government can't do everything. We need civil society, we need individuals to come in to help us. Tema Polyclinic has very skilled medical staff. We have specialists, we have midwives, very good nurses. But then when it comes to our inpatient care, we are a bit challenged in the sense that we do not have a dedicated or a well-demarcated male ward. Neither do we have one for our female patients. So we are not able to admit patients beyond 3 days. But then I know that the facility has the skill to be able to take care of inpatients, and so we are asking that anyone who can help us, organizations, institutions, individuals, please come and help us. We need a ward, we need a female ward, and we need a male ward as well to be able to take very good care of them.
Now, the Bono East Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, has admonished Ghanaians to embrace drinking more water during the Harmattan season to help prevent respiratory illnesses. He also charged the general public, particularly people suffering from cold, to avoid overcrowded environments and adhere to the use of nose mask. Correspondent Anna Sabit has more in this report.
Harmattan is a season with the typical characteristics of a dry and dusty season. The traditional Harmattan season leads to poor visibility for drivers, and while children and adults could suffer from cold, cough and catarrh, the season also leads to dry skin, cracked lips and sores of the feet. Bono East Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, admonishes the general public to be wary of the dry nature of the weather and embrace drinking more water, noting that it will help prevent common illnesses.
You can't remember earlier on when it was raining, people were saying that we are not feeling the weather. Now the weather has come, Harmattan has come. There are some things that we have to do. Look, one, we have to be well hydrated. And hydration, we talk about water. Weather kits, especially because when they are tasty, they will not be able to tell you. Make sure that we give them something to drink as much as possible, including us, the adults. The moment you do that, what you actually do is that all the mucosal surfaces, the covering around your nose, your throat, and your mouth, is moist and watered. It doesn't lead to what we call break. There is no break in that, and there is no breach in that. Therefore, you don't have organisms that can cause the so-called what we call meningitis, because at this time people are at risk of having meningitis. So that if you are well hydrated and then that mucosa, there is no breach, the likelihood of these organisms that can cause is not there. That is one thing that we also see.
He charged the general public to avoid overcrowding and urged people with cold to adhere to the use of nose masks and avoid going out.
Overcrowding, please avoid as much as possible overcrowding. Because if you're overcrowded in a space and it's not well ventilated, then it means that all the air is circulating and you are breathing the air that is supposed to go out. These are things that we will also have to do. Colleagues and friends, if you still have cold, don't go out. Don't go out to public places. And even if you go, we know what to do. Mask. It's very important that we do that.
Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng also charged the general public to adopt the various hand hygiene protocols, which, according to him, help reduce various upper respiratory diseases.
But we can also see that people have stopped hand hygiene. Washing of our hands with running water and soap, and also the use of alcohol hand gel. These are what we call standard things that should be done. It's not because of COVID that we were doing them. In fact, COVID came to tell us the things that we are supposed to do. This is the time that we will have to also go back to them, because if you go back to them, it's able to help us a lot. One thing that we realized during the COVID, that a lot of diarrhea diseases reduced. A lot of upper respiratory tract reduced, because the way we touch our mouth, touch our eyes, touch our nose, unconsciously we don't know. But if washing of our hands with soap and running water, and especially having alcohol gel close to you that you can easily use, then it's very important.
Anna Sabit, Joy News, Tichima.
Now, former Ningo Pram MP E.T. Mensah has been laid to rest. The former education minister, who died in South Africa late last year, was given a state funeral. Now, dignitaries paid glowing tributes to the former statesman. My colleague Kenneth Jesse was there and reports.
The former Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram died in October last year in South Africa after a long battle with ill health. The father of 7 at the time of his demise was the Council of State representative of the Greater Accra region. Former President John Mahama and other dignitaries paid their last respects to E.T. Mensah.
Well, you had the varied, roles that he played from the early days of the decentralization. I mean, from the district assemblies, he was mayor of Accra, minister of sports, minister of works and housing. I mean, he's paid his dues to his country. He ended up as a member of the Council of State. And so he's actually paid his dues, and he deserves the respect that we're giving him.
I think he has had a distinguished career in politics, in parliament. He was not only of great service to his community, but also to the country as a whole. Again, he will be remembered for the work that he did in the Ministry of Youth and Sports and several other areas of public endeavor.
He was a brilliant, dedicated statesman. I mean, E.T., when we were doing politics, he was one of the consummate politicians. I did a cocoa evacuation for Jerry John Rawlings, so I knew E.T. from the PNDC days, except that they were socialists, I was not. But for the dedication of our work towards the building of the country, we all worked together. And E.T., when he was appointed Minister for Sports, most people didn't believe he can function or he can do it, because they looked at him as if he was like a village boy, or like me. But when we come here, we arrive. With the education we got and the training from home, we perform. And so E.T. performed well. And he was a Methodist like me. So we all worship from the Methodist Church of Ghana. And it's good to see the respect we've all shown him and the state honoring him with a state burial, and I'm glad. Wherever he is, I think he's died in the Lord, and I believe we are sorry, but we will meet him one day.
I must say that Ghana has lost a great gem. These are a few people who should have lived longer to see how God will take this nation to. He also played a very big role, and when finally he passed the baton to our younger brother Sam George, people didn't realize that they still maintain that thing. A lot of people were throwing so many words about, but I think that they were able to do it. At that time, he has finished his term. Somebody who was vibrant and much younger should take over from him. And for me, I think that we need to celebrate him, except that, let me say this, in Ghana, I've noticed we don't celebrate people until they die.
Now, exploring contemporary art exhibitions offer a wonderful opportunity to delve into and admire the imaginative expressions of artists in the modern era. Now, this showcases frequent, present, groundbreaking and intellectually stimulating pieces that push the limit of traditional artistic conventions. Now, Caleb Osemensah was at the Greater Than Less Than Cloud9 art exhibition featuring Joseph Awumi and Jeffrey Otto. Here's the report.
This exhibition illuminates the intersection of two distinct artistic realms, where Joseph Awumi's tangible textured sculptures meet Jeffrey Otto's imaginative paintings in an exploration of universal themes. The association of tangible physical sculptures with enigmatic symbolic paintings sparks a dynamic conversation between the material and the abstract, encouraging viewers to delve into the details of the human experience. In an interview, Jeffrey discusses the connection of their works, revealing a symbiotic relationship.
So with this exhibition, how both of us, our works seamlessly fit with each other, or they correspond to each other, was that there are similar themes, such as the clouds, figures. He, with Joseph, he works with themes of loneliness, isolation, life. There are different things. There's life in general and everything in between. And my work also borders around these same themes. So in my work, we have like burning flowers, melting flowers. It borders around surrealism. With his works, we have like figures with standing, holding flowers, wreaths, and beds, in isolation. So with that, it's figures, flowers, but they all find a way to, be very cohesive. And with the themes such as like life, death, and life in general, and everything that goes on with life.
Greater than, less than Cloud 9 encapsulates Joseph Owumi's focus on the raw and unpolished aspects of existence, harmonizing with Jeffrey Otu's exploration of fantasy and imagination through cryptic symbols.
The works I displayed are mostly pieces of relating to the themes of life, love, death, and isolation. So I'm very much inspired by conversations, by my surroundings, and my own personal experiences. So creating these pieces were somewhat difficult in a way because I had to really bring those emotions to life, and that's one of the hardest parts. And yeah.
Joseph shares insights into the inspiration behind their art piece, while both Joseph and Jeffrey provide special reflections on how life experiences have influenced their creative endeavors.
Embarking on this art journey in the beginning, it also broadened my perspectives about life in general, interactions with people, and also how exhibitions are made. So with this exhibition, when the audience came on the opening day, we realized that they were interacting with the pieces because some of them have never really seen art in this manner with the installations and the paintings. So it also gave us another chance to explain and also sort of educate people on the arts and the art of collecting and the art of also appreciating art. So with this exhibition, really, I think it taught all of us, we as the artists, as an artist, you can never know too much. Every day is a learning curve for you. And I feel like this exhibition, it really taught us a lot, and it also taught the audience a lot.
Whether you are an experienced art enthusiast or simply curious to explore new forms of artistic expression, these exhibitions present a fantastic opportunity to immerse yourself in the realm of contemporary art.
We have business after this break. Please stay with us.
Welcome. Let's do some business now with me, Emma Davis. The bond market recorded a decrease of 52.7% year-on-year in volume traded in 2023. That's according to the Ghana Stock Exchange Market Summary for 2023. According to the report, volume traded last year was 98.44 billion as against 230.32 billion a year before. Here's more.
The domestic debt exchange program continues to impact significantly on the debt market. According to the report, the total number of trade for 2023 also declined by 24.36% from 528,188 trades in 2022 to 399,522 in 2023. Long-term government securities accounted for 32.47% of market activity, while short-term government instruments constituted 58.64%, with corporate trade comprising 8.89% within the year. On the equities market, the year closed with a decrease in volume, value, and number of trade compared to the figures from the previous year. The top gainers for the year were intravenous infusion, benzo oil palm plantation, farm milk, and oil.
Ecobank Ghana topped the retail banking segment's ability to resolve issues or turning a poor customer experience into a great one. That's according to the 2023 KPMG West Africa Banking Industry Customer Experience Survey. CalBank also claimed the top position in the small and medium enterprises segment. There is more in this Business Desk report.
Customers of Ecobank commended the bank for reasonable wait times when contacting the call center and prompt handling of issues, often surpassing their expectations. The customers also praised the bank for delivering proactive and prompt support, particularly on its digital platforms. UBA Ghana secured the second position, experiencing a slight drop of one place from its previous ranking. It excelled in the empathy pillar, particularly with respect to professionalism among its staff. Prudential Bank, a newcomer among the top 5, demonstrated noteworthy performance in the personalization, time and effort pillars. In the SME segment, the integrity pillar had the highest customer experience score. CalBank came tops with customers' experience satisfaction, primarily with the quick handling of requests, streamlined branch experiences without long queues, and the security of their transactions. It was followed closely by Zenith Bank, impressing customers with the professionalism and attitude demonstrated by the bank's staff and relationship managers. Stanbic Bank placed third. In the corporate segment, Standard Chartered Bank emerged as the market leader, receiving commendation for its tailored services, advisory offerings, and foreign exchange services, among other areas.
That'll be all for business. I am Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a good evening and a lovely weekend ahead.
To the sports segment with me, Razak Musbao. Now, former Black Stars coach Otto Addo has emphasized the importance of not underestimating so-called small countries like Mozambique and Cape Verde in the upcoming 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Ghana is drawn in Group B alongside Egypt, Cape Verde and Mozambique as they gear up in an attempt to win their 5th AFCON title. Speaking about Ghana's chances in the group, Otto Addo, who led Ghana to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, won the games, overlooking the defensively organized teams.
A lot of work which you have to put in to survive the group stage, then to go into the next following rounds, and then at the end to win. It's so much work, and it's also a lot of mentality, right thinking, in every moment. And even if you win, you have to know that you have to work harder to maintain this level. So my advice really is just to think from game to game, and not also for the spectators, which I can really understand, but they shouldn't think too far, And so each game has its own character, each game has its own difficulties, and we should think about each game as such. So it's a dangerous way of thinking, that to think that all Egypt is like a team which can compete with us, and those countries, also Comoros, have shown also against other teams that, I think, was it Senegal last year or something, that they had a draw. So they've shown the world that they are capable of dealing with so-called big nations, football nations, and you can't take them easy. And I think the easiest game will be maybe Egypt, because there it's very, very balanced. Maybe they are the favorites in this game. It's easier to maybe stand behind, and when people don't expect too much from you, then it's easier than to play these so-called small countries, which are football educated, which know how to defend, and that would be very, very tough and to break them. But I think once we score a goal against these countries, then it gets easier. But it's a long way and it's hard work.
In the Ghana Premier League, Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association has ordered a temporary ban on Real Tamale United from using the Ali Mahama Sports. Well, elsewhere, former Ghana international Michael Essien has been speaking about his playing days in the Premier League and how he helped change the perception about signing African players. Well, that's all we have for you for sports with me, Razak Musbah.
And that's all we have in this hour. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Caloni. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening.